Bueno, muchísimas gracias a todos por su puntualidad. Mi nombre es Lina Escobar y soy la coordinadora académica del consorcio Caldo. El día de hoy estamos con Vivian, quien está representando la Universidad McMaster de la Escuela de Negocios de Groot. Ella hace parte del departamento de reclutamiento y tenemos a Gregory Richards de la Universidad de Ottawa, también de la Escuela de Negocios Telford, y él es el vicerrector de reclutamiento de esta facultad. Um, can you confirm me that you are seeing my screen? Okay, thank you.
I can see that the University of Ottawa screen.
Oh, no.
I don't know if that's what you...
No, it's not me.
Okay.
Are you seeing now?
No, I'm still seeing, and I don't know if anybody else in the call can see something different. I can see the Telford School of Management and the accreditation slide. That's what I'm seeing on the screen.
Yep, that's what you should be seeing. Yeah, I haven't changed that yet.
Okay, can you stop sharing it?
I'll stop sharing. You're going to present yours?
Yeah, just like a few minutes.
Yep,
Thanks.
done.
Okay,
Are you
I see
saying?
it now.
Perfect. I'm gonna talk my presentation in Spanish, so will be, easier and fastest. Okay.
Okay, that's good. We'll listen in Spanish. All good.
Thank you. Ok, bueno, como les decía, mi nombre es Lina Escobar y yo soy la coordinadora académica del consorcio Caldo. Nuestros representantes de nuestras universidades del día de hoy nos van a contar sobre sus procesos de cómo aplicar a sus programas en las facultades o en las escuelas de negocios, ya sea maestrías o doctorados. Yo les voy a presentar un poco acerca de Caldo. Va a ser muy rápido. Eh, bueno, les voy a contar qué es Caldo. El Caldo es un consorcio de universidades canadienses líderes en investigación que ofrecen programas de posgrados de alto nivel en inglés y en francés a estudiantes de toda América Latina. ¿Cuál es o qué hacemos en Caldo? Formamos alianzas con organismos gubernamentales y contamos con socios de financiamiento en los países de América Latina. En este momento tenemos más de 13 convenios con países desde México hasta Chile. Proporcionamos orientación y apoyo a los candidatos de América Latina en su proceso de postulación a los programas de posgrados de nuestras universidades. Y formamos alianzas entre las universidades miembros de Caldo y las universidades de investigación en América Latina. Aquí están nuestras universidades que son miembros del consorcio. Tenemos la Universidad de Alberta, la Universidad de Waterloo, la Universidad McMaster, quien nos acompaña hoy, la Universidad de Ottawa también, la Universidad Laval y la Universidad de Queens. ¿Cómo Caldo los ayuda en su proceso? Entonces, les ayudamos a identificar los requerimientos de admisión, las fechas límites para aplicar a las universidades, cómo buscar a los supervisores, les damos orientación para postular en el programa de posgrado de su interés, les ayudamos a explorar las opciones de financiamiento en su país de origen y encontramos información que necesitan antes de venir a Canadá. ¿Cuál es la mejor manera de contactarnos? Es ingresar a nuestra página web que es www.caldo.ca y en la parte inferior derecha van a encontrar una ventanita que dice Request a Contact y ahí van a tener que llenar un formulario con la información pertinente y es acerca de los intereses académicos que ustedes están buscando y nosotros vamos a recibir ese correo y nosotros, bueno, nos vamos a poner en contacto con ustedes. ¿Cómo encontrar un programa en nuestra página web? Es igual, en la misma página que les acabo de dar, eh, hay un buscador de programas que ustedes van a poner una palabra clave. Yo, por ejemplo, van a poner engineering o business y automáticamente el buscador lo que va a hacer es arrojar los resultados de los programas de todas las universidades que están ofreciendo en este momento en esa área. Bueno, y para llegar a cada uno de esos programas le pueden dar clic al link que aparece con el nombre y ustedes automáticamente pues van a ver que los va a llevar a la página de la universidad donde está la información del programa que ustedes pues hicieron clic. Bueno, no les voy a quitar más tiempo a mis colegas. Más adelante les voy a dejar mis datos de contacto para cualquier información que necesiten o duda que tengan, pues con muchísimo gusto yo los voy a atender. Le voy a dar el paso a mi compañero Gregory. Uh, well, I just finished, and Gregory, you are next.
Okay. Now you see my screen again, yes? Perfect.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here. So I'm with the Telford School of Management, as you can see on the screen. You can see that we have a number of accreditations. I'll talk about those a little bit later. But let me tell you first a little bit about Ottawa, then I'll tell you about the school, then I'll tell you about the program. So we'll go in that order. The picture is Rideau Canal, goes down the middle of the city. You can see the Parliament buildings in the back. So it's the capital of Canada. Because of that, we have a lot of government organizations. We have quite a few private sector organizations as well as not-for-profit organizations. We have opened a small campus in a suburb called Canada, which has about 500 growing tech companies. So typically students who go through our program end up working in one of those areas. We also have one of the largest teaching hospitals in the country here in Ottawa. So we also have a program for folks in healthcare administration, which you'll see in a little while. The main campus is downtown Ottawa. We're housed in this building, the Demery building. 11 different residences, university center with lots of services for students, health services, gymnasiums, many sports teams, and a very robust intramural program that students can participate in sports. The school as a whole is ranked the top 200 in the world. We have about 5,000 students. Of that number, 4,400 are undergrad. The rest are the grad students spread across a number of the programs that I'll talk about in a little while. We have a number of partnerships and connections with universities around the world. The placement rate for graduate students after 12 months after graduating is 100%. 6 months after graduating, it's about 90%. These are the accreditations I mentioned. The top 3 are accrediting bodies for business schools. They're like quality management tools or frameworks that we use to ensure that our programs are of the highest quality. The bottom 3 are industry associations with whom we partner to ensure that the competencies that we build reflect what industries need. So the graduate programs portfolio, I have the professional programs on the left, but I'll talk about the research programs as well on the right. So you can see that we have a number of professional programs, research programs, MSc in management. There are a number of concentrations that I'll talk about in a bit, MSc in health systems, and then the PhD program. The MBA concentration areas, digital transformation and innovation. Typically, these are students who are interested in digitalization in organizations. So working with things like process mining, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, and so on. So all of the digitalization of organizations that go on. Finance, it's one of two things. So working in capital budgeting in large organizations, or working in the finance industry, so the investment side of the house, so to speak. Management consulting, a lot of students here in Ottawa, they go on to one of the big firms, so Deloitte, EY, KPMG, or PwC, they're all here. And then sustainable management, which is a new concentration for us, focusing on the sustainable development goals that have been promoted by the United Nations. The MSc in management. So as you saw on the previous slide, we have a project-based MSc, we have a research MSc, and we have an MSc with co-op. These are the concentration areas that you can select in the MSc. The bottom, marketing behavioral science, that's a relatively new one. So it's looking at, you may have heard of the concept of nudging. So this is the question of how do we encourage people to take certain actions in certain directions, not just for buying products, but for some social causes as well. The Executive Masters of Business Administration. So this program is usually for senior students coming in to polish off their MBA degree. The average age is about 42, 14 to 15 years of work experience. We've made it a fairly practical program with some global aspects. So there are a lot of projects that are done throughout the program. And then 2 projects are done outside of Ottawa. One typically in California and Silicon Valley, and one in some other international destination. We've been in Southeast Asia for the last 4 or 5 years, so Malaysia, Vietnam, and places like that. The program is delivered in a bimodal format, which means that EMBA students can learn from pretty much anywhere in the world, but it is synchronous. So that means that there's a limitation in terms of time shift. We have 2 health administration programs. It's one of the reasons we're a school of management, because we don't only have students who are in business per se, we have non-for-profit healthcare as well as business. The MHA is 24 months. That's a face-to-face program. The executive MHA is an asynchronous, about 80% asynchronous program. That one can be delivered to students anywhere in the world. The MSc in management, as you saw earlier on the slide, research project with co-op, and the thesis option, which is a 2-year option. The others are 1-year options, and then the various concentration areas. The main difference between the research programs and the professional programs is that in the research programs, you're expected to generate some new knowledge by doing a thesis. And so thinking hard about how organizations work and what are some of the areas that you might explore from a more theoretical perspective. And then finally, we have our PhD program. And so this is a 4-year program, full-time. And typically, you are now generating something net new in terms of the literature. It's a fairly intensive program. We have different fields of study as well, as you can see on the screen. So you can choose professional or research orientation. And then in the research orientation, you have a number of specializations. In the MBA, you can choose those 4 special concentrations I mentioned. The EMBA, there's no concentration. Plus, everybody does the same program, similar with the EMHA and the MHA programs. So there's a URL there on the bottom that you can take a look at if you're interested in everything I've just mentioned to you. And then there is an email address where you can connect with someone if you wanted to get more information. So I'll stop there and I'll turn it over to my colleague from McMaster.
Thank you so much. So should I just go ahead, or we're gonna open for questions later, right? Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna test the screen share. Are you able to see the screen now? Perfect. Okay, so thank you again for the opportunity. Appreciate being here. My name is Viviane Bonfim. I'm one of the recruitment admissions managers here at the Groot School of Business at McMaster University, and I'll be focusing on the MBA programs that we offer. They are open for international students. So important to say, we have September intakes. So we are already closed for September 2024, but we do have intakes every year. So September this year, 2024, we'll be opening applications for the September 2025. So all the information will be applicable. So I just wanted to start talking about McMaster University and the Groot School of Business. So we are among the top 1 universities in the world. Also, we are top 3 2-year MBA programs in Canada, according to the Wall Street Journal. Top 10 business schools in Canada, according to Maclean's. So we've been delivering MBA programs for over 60 years now. So it comes with the tradition and the networking, and also reflects on our employer partners network, as well as the community that students are joining when they join the MBA program. It is truly a global community across so many countries, so a lot of representation. We were first in Canada to offer both an MBA with co-op and the health service specialization. So again, just to give you an overview of the university and the School of Business. So a lot of people know McMaster for being located in Hamilton. That's where our main campus is located. Hamilton is about 45 minutes away from Toronto. But the MBA programs have a very dedicated building in Burlington. So Burlington is in the middle of the way between Toronto and Hamilton. So it's a smaller city. Great thing is that you have access to Toronto. It's very accessible to go to Toronto, to the big city and everything that has to offer. But studying Burlington give you more options in terms of where to live without having to pay necessarily the highest living expenses for living in a big city like Toronto. So you can, if you would like to. We do have some students that study with us full-time and they're able to live in Toronto, but you can choose other areas around what we call the GTHA, so the Greater Toronto Area, including Hamilton. So very accessible. We do have a shuttle that takes students from the main campus in Hamilton to Burlington if people choose to live in Hamilton. And we also have a shuttle from our local train here, our city train, the GO train. So if students take the transit, take the train, they can take a shuttle to the campus as well. Yes.
We are still looking the first slide.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. So let me try to share again, because I'm moving slides definitely. Share. Do you see it now? Let me see. Yeah, you see it moving now. Okay, perfect. So I just moved one. I'm moving to the third one right now. So just like we are all in the same province. So I think my colleague already talked about Ontario in a way, but as well, like overall, Canada and Ontario are very well known for quality of life, safety. We're constantly ranking as top place to live in terms of quality of life in general. There is still a pathway for a postgraduate work visa. So students coming for a 2-year program, for example, even now with the new announcements, a shorter MBA program or any other master program can grant students 2 to 3 years of a post-grad work permit. So there's a pathway for immigration there. And I'll touch upon the new announcements later, just kind of for peace of mind. So very, very multicultural. And you see that reflected in the classroom, in your community. So very welcoming to international students. That's like I'm an immigrant myself. I'm originally from Brazil. So it's really, really reflected everywhere. Like you feel like you belong because everybody comes from a background from somewhere. So very nice place to be. So in terms of Canadian rankings, 3 overall countries in terms of destination, best country to start a career, best country to headquarter a business, and quality of life. So just again, talking about Canada as a destination, and that's something we want to continue promoting and reassuring international students that Canada is open for international students. The international students are welcome in Canada. And I'll talk a little bit about the other announcements. We just wanted to clarify, and I think Gregory and we are both representing graduate programs, as you know. So I just want to make it very clear for everybody, and we are not providing any type of immigration consultant here, but these are announcements that were like broadly announced. The programs, the master's programs, MBA programs, PhD, they have not been affected by the cap, so students can still apply. We don't have to follow that attestation letter, so we still don't have the limits. There were some positive impacts for our programs. Even shorter programs now, they offer the 3-year post-grad work permit. So just kind of to be on a positive note, because I think when people see the announcements inside, they think it's general across the board. It affected more undergraduate programs and college programs. So I just wanted to mention that here. So in terms of our MBA program, I wanted to kind of be mindful of time. So I wanted to focus on the career services. Very important for international students. I'll talk about the structure of the programs that we offer, the 2 MBAs. But for both, we have a dedicated career team who will be supporting students with one-on-one coaching sessions, career development curriculum. There'll be a lot of networking opportunities, mock interview nights, connecting with alumni, connecting with the industry partners. So a lot of opportunities for students to understand, adapt their resume, their cover letter, be ready for interviews, and be successful securing their internships or co-op terms. So I'm just putting side by side the 2 MBA programs that I'm focusing. We have the full-time MBA and the full-time MBA with co-op. So both full-time. One is 20 months and the other one is 28 months. So the differences there are a couple of differences. So for example, the full-time MBA, we require students to have at least 1 year of work experience, while the MBA with co-op, students don't have to come with any work experience. And we talk about work experience, the professional roles that you have after graduating with your undergrad. So that's why you see in the full-time MBA, around 4 years of work experience. That's an average for that cohort compared to about 2 years in the full-time MBA with co-op. So a more junior, newer professionals represented in the MBA with co-op. For both programs, you can choose all of those specialization areas. So business analytics, finance, health service management, marketing, or strategic business valuation. So those are the elective courses that you take in your second year of the program that will, if you want to pursue one of those specialization, then you just have to take certain electives in your second year. So another difference between the 2 programs is that in the MBA, the 20 months one, the full-time MBA, students have one opportunity to take a paid internship in the summer. So between first and second year, when they have their courses, they can take that internship. With the MBA with co-op, there are 3 mandatory part of the program co-op terms. So 3 4-month paid work terms. So the program is an alternation between academic and work terms. So in total, out of the 28 months in the MBA with co-op, students will be working for 12 months. Oops, I think I skipped one. Yeah, so this is what I was mentioning in terms of work opportunity in the full time. There's one paid internship that is optional. Not everybody will seek that. But in the full-time MBA with co-op, we have the 3 4-month work terms. And of course, this for the 2 programs, the internship or the co-op terms, they are paid. So you get paid while doing that. So this is like the class of 2022. So the class that graduated last year. They're what we call the return on investment. So what happened to that class? So 95% of them were able to secure employment within 3 months from graduating from the MBA programs. 82,464, that's the average salary for that placement after the MBA. You can see here the top industry that students were hired. Financial services was the top one, 34% consulting, technology, healthcare. So what I want to show with that is diversity. We don't tell students where they have to go. Students will choose specialization or the job, the co-op terms or the job after the MBA according to their interest. And this is a very small sample of the employers who hired that class. So just to give you an idea of what's out there for you after completing an MBA. So in terms of admissions, I think the beginning was, we were talking about how to apply for the program. So our application process is, you can complete that online. We do ask you for a resume, and we provide you a resume template that you can populate to make sure you're not missing anything that we would like to see. We don't have an essay or a personal statement, so we ask you questions. These are the program-specific questions, and then you're going to answer that in terms of your motivation to do the MBA, the reasons why, you reflect on your career goals and what you have done so far. We do ask for 2 references, could be one academic, one professional. There is an interview that you're going to complete. It's the Kira interview, which is an online interview as well. You do have to have a bachelor's degree in any area. We don't require candidates to come from a business background, so we can take any undergrad. And then we usually request, it is a requirement to have a GMAT or a GRE score, but we do have a waiver option. So you can submit a pre-assessment and be considered for a waiver even before you apply. I'll send the link, and maybe you can have access to that on how to submit that pre-assessment, but you can do that just to understand whether or not you're going to need a GMAT or a GRE score to apply. And then that can be considered. With the pre-assessment, we also, and in a perfect world, we would love to have everybody who's interested in applying submitting a pre-assessment. At the pre-assessment stage, that's when we take a look at your academic and your professional background, and we send you a program recommendation. So we can tell you, oh, we believe the MBA with co-op is a better option for you, or the full-time, or either one. Let's talk about your goals. So that's it in a nutshell for the 2 programs, the full-time MBA with co-op. That's the email you can connect with me or any of my colleagues in recruitment and admissions, and we'll be happy to book a one-on-one coffee chat with you if you have questions, or to do that pre-assessment. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Gregory. Bueno, ahorita si quieren preguntar algo acerca de las presentaciones, si no les quedó algo claro, tenemos unos minutos para que ustedes nos dejen sus preguntas y nosotros pues, se las vamos a responder. Entonces, bueno, tenía una pregunta. Bueno, que hay una persona súper interesada en estudiar en el Master of Science en Telford. Okay. Well, Jesus is asking that the cost of the programs. If you can tell us approximately how much is the
MSc?
Yeah.
Yeah, the MSc, it's around 30,000 Canadian.
30,000. Okay, the other question is, what are the scholarships you have for international students at both the university, and how much is the percentage?
Viviana, you go first.
Sure. Okay. So we have entrance scholarship. So every applicant will be considered for entrance scholarship. There's no need to submit a separate application for that. So that could range between 2,000 and 30,000. So the admissions committee, along with making a decision, if they're sending an offer, they will include an amount of entrance scholarship to those who are eligible. And again, it's a range. On top of that, students, after accepting their offer, as they transition to start the program, they can also apply for what we call in-course scholarships and awards and bursaries. And again, they're different. So students will build a profile. The profile will match you with any existing award or scholarship, and then you can apply individually for first and second year. So that again could be anywhere from $500 to $20,000, depending on the awards or scholarships that you get. So they're open for international and domestic Canadian students.
Yeah, at Telford, there are a number of scholarships you can apply for, open scholarships at the university level. For the programs themselves, each program has a pool of funding for scholarships. In the MBA programs, you don't have to apply for these. They are what we call merit scholarships. So it depends on your incoming GPA and your GMAT scores and so on. And those are awarded by the admissions committee. We do have a scholarship unit within the university who also processes a number of scholarships. So each program would have different ones, and many of them are merit scholarships, others you apply for.
Okay. What are the questions? Hans says, which masters connects straight to a PhD?
Right now at Telfer, there are the MSCs. So if you come out of an MSc program, you can apply directly to the PhD. In rare cases, if you start an MSc and you show good potential, then you can move directly to the PhD program. But typically it's the MSc research that moves you towards the PhD.
Vivian?
So I'll leave that one with Gregory because I'm talking about just the two MBAs. So I wouldn't have that information for the other graduate programs.
Yeah. Well, a very popular question is there an age limit for the programs at both these institutions?
Okay, I can happy to go first. So we don't have an age limit. So when we offer to do the pre-assessment and when we talk about cohort profile, we just want to make sure you're joining a cohort that you're comfortable and there's exchange. You're bringing as much as you're taking from that cohort. So that's why we talk about work experience. Usually what we see in the MBA with co-op, students with up to 5 years of work experience. So you can kind of have an idea of age, but we don't really track age. And for the full-time MBA, the 20-month one, we have up to 7 to 8 years of work experience. So no age limit. And even if you have more than that, you're still welcome to apply. But we are very conscious of having that conversation so students understand who's in that cohort and whether or not that's the right program for them. That's a cohort that it will be meaningful for them, but no age limit.
Yeah, same here in our case, but there are two different entry paths. So the professional programs are what we refer to as post-experience program. Like Viviana mentioned, for the MBA, you need 3 years, minimum of 3 years of work experience. So after your undergrad, if you add 3 years to get to that, you get an idea of the minimum age coming in. For the MSc, those are what we call direct entry programs. So you could go into those directly from an undergrad. So there's no work experience required.
Okay. Do you have any preliminary English sessions in the case the applicant doesn't reach the required score for the MBA program?
So for us, for the MBA programs, we accept TOEFL or IELTS as proof of English proficiency. We can waive that requirement if students completed their undergrad in English and it's showing on the transcript. We do not have a pathway or a program that it can take before, so they would have to have that with their application. So either showing that they completed their undergrad or they've been living in an English-speaking country for more than 4 years, or the TOEFL or IELTS.
Yeah, it's the same at Telfer. We accept the same assessments. And same situation, if you've studied your undergrad in English and it shows in a transcript, then you would not need to write those tests.
Okay, and what happens if someone, doesn't have any preliminary studies in English and doesn't have the minimum score in IELTS or TOEFL or KL or something like that of the other exams? Do you have like a English lessons before the program starts?
No.
We don't have it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, basically what happens in our case is students will keep trying. They'll keep writing the TOEFL or the IELTS until they get to a point where they hit the number that they need. Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, because they would have to have that with the application. There is a course, our MELDS, like it's English for graduate studies, but it's not a pathway. It's something that you take and then it waives the IELTS. It's something that you can take if you want to kind of do that and improve your English for graduate studies before, but it's not a pathway, something like I know some undergrad programs have the ESL pathway. You take some ESL, then you go into the program. We don't have that for the MBAs.
Okay. Says for the PhD program in management, I have seen programs in Canada that offer two options for students who have completed master's and bachelor's degree. I don't understand the question. I think that maybe it's only because some PhD accept people who has just an undergrad, not a master. So only if you have bachelor, you can go through the PhD.
In very rare cases. So typically what happens in that situation is the undergrad fourth year, you would have done an undergrad research project. And then based on that, you could apply directly to the PhD, but it almost, it's very, very rare, yeah. It happens more outside of Canada, to be honest, than within Canada. I've seen that happen in Europe and in some cases in the States, but here it doesn't happen too often.
Okay, yeah, we have here another person who is asking the same, because in Chile, we do 6 years of engineering, so maybe I could convalidate the extra credits. Is it possible?
It's for sure possible. So when students apply here to the PhD, they would send all of the information, like Viviana mentioned, and then in your letter of intent, you would put all of your particulars in there, and the fact that you've done a 6-year degree in engineering, and if you've done research, it's really important to mention that. Because it is a research degree, and so the admissions committee would want to know that you would be successful in actually going through a dissertation. Yeah.
Okay, so many people are asking for email addresses from you. Can you just leave it on the chat?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, and the other question is, what are the companies that are linked with the MBA program?
So for us, we do have a list of our over 200 employer partners on the website. It's a full list, and it really reflects the diversity that we have in the cohort. So students coming from different, with different academic backgrounds, different industry experience, it's reflected. So we have tech companies, we have hospitals, we have banks. So very, very diverse. You will see a little bit of everything there because the students are looking for different things. So you're welcome to take a look on, and I can share the career page that we have, and you can see the full list, but it's a lot. It's a lot in very diverse in different industries, different areas.
Yeah, it's the same situation at Telfer. So here we have 60 government departments. They tend to hire about 30% or so of the graduates. All the banks are here as well, and so they probably usually pick up 20. We have all the consultancies here, so they pick up another 20. And then the private sector firms that I mentioned earlier, these are startups or scale-ups. There are about 500 of them out there, and so they will also pick up a certain percentage. So similar to McMaster, very varied. We do a similar thing on intake. We try to get a sense of where you'd like to land, and then we start to build some networking opportunities for you to explore those particular segments.
Okay. Another common question is what's the required score in TOEFL or IELTS for the MBA at McMaster and Ottawa, University of Ottawa?
So for us, the IELTS, it's a 7, and the TOEFL is 100. That's the requirement, the cutoff.
It's the same at Telfer, yeah. I think most Canadian schools have
I think
similar
so,
cutoffs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and here is someone asking about the agreement between Calvo and our universities, and the question is that some of the programs are applied for the domestic tuition fee, but it's only for masters, research masters, not for the professional masters. So, Jesús, las maestrías, o bueno, las maestrías que entran dentro del convenio entre Caldo, que tenemos con nuestras universidades y las instituciones de gobierno en los países de Latinoamérica, aplican solo para maestrías de investigación o doctorados. Las maestrías profesionales como los MBA y los Executive MBA no aplican en estos casos. Okay, could you point to next steps after this meeting for better planning?
Yes. So I will post the link for our pre-assessment. So even if you're considering 2025 September as your start date, you can do a pre-assessment anytime now, be assessed for the GMAT waiver and receive a program recommendation. And then we'll start the conversation. We can follow up with a one-on-one coffee chat. So I just posted the pre-assessment link.
Okay, I have.
I'll put here the link to get to our recruitment team.
Okay, I think we don't have. Okay, we don't have more questions to answer. I think that everyone, I just read all the questions. The other one that we didn't answer is because are the same. I mean, the same question that I were. So I don't know if someone have another question, just let us know.
Lena, there's one about the scholarships and the PhD program. The scholarships for the PhD works a little differently. So typically we have X number of scholarships that are available for PhD students. We also have research assistantships and teaching assistantships. So typically when you're in a PhD program, you can get the entrance scholarship, but then you can also apply for the research and the teaching assistantships. So most PhD students can fund most of their studies through these scholarships and assistantships. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, okay. Okay, I have another question. What are the dates for or the deadlines for apply to the MBA?
My pastor or both? Okay, so for the MBA, we will be opening the portal for applications in September. So very likely September 1st, 2024. We usually have 3 intakes. Sorry, not 3 intakes, 3 rounds and 3 different deadlines. So we'll be posting soon. But I can tell you the first one will likely be October, mid-October. Then we have one in December. And then usually end of February is our final deadline for international applicants. So October, we open September. October should be the first application round deadline. December should be the second one. And February, end of February will be round 3, final round for international applications. And that's for September 2025.
Yeah, our process is rolling applications. So the deadline is February 15th for international students. And so if you go on to the info@UOttawa.ca, they can give you an idea of when you can actually start making the applications. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's it. That's all the questions that we have. So
Okay.
thank you very much, guys, for joining us and share all these value information about your programs and your business schools. Muchas gracias a todas las personas que se quedaron hasta el final. Esperamos recibir muchísimas postulaciones para todos, para nuestras universidades. Recuerden que pueden escribirnos con cualquier duda que tengan. De igual manera, voy a dejar mi correo electrónico para cualquier información que deseen saber de las universidades o de los programas. Thank you, guys. Have a nice
Thank you, Lina.
rest of
Thank
the
you,
day.
Lina.
Thank you,
All the best.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.